What is up, guys? Welcome back. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. Oh, man, and thanks for spending just a little bit of it with us.
A
No,
little bit. I am glitching.
hey, you guys are going to get what you get this week. You know, we're forging ahead. Problems be darned. No, you're not crazy. Yes, things are getting wild out there, but take heart, dear friends, for you have found a place where you can take a load off and be refreshed with just a little common freaking sense. I am Chris, a Green Beret medic, husband, and a father.
And I'm Pastor Eric, and what we are going to share with you today hopefully will be absolutely refreshing because you'll be able to say, man, there's people who think like me. Take it, Chris.
There you go. All right. For the big idea, I'm going to be making the case for quitting. Sometimes you should. We're going to do who's who and what's new, today's headlines. And then for keeping the main thing, what we know that man is made in the image of God, but what is the evidence for that? We're going to give it to you. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Here we go.
Go.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move straight into the big idea this week. And this week on the big idea, I'm going to be making a case for quitting. So
Okay.
this might be kind of interesting coming from me, right? The military guy, especially since, I'm sure most of you like me came from the background where it's like never quit, never give up, put your head down, strive ahead, push all the barriers out of the way. But I'm going to let you know that one of the things that I've found out as I've gotten a little bit older, don my crown of wisdom here, is that there actually is a time for quitting. So here we go. Boom.
Here we go.
All right. So the very first thing that we got to do, right, is define the terms. What am I talking about when I say quitting? And I'm not talking about like the easy apple to pick up off the ground, which is like addictions, right? Of course, if you are indulging,
Common sense.
right? If you're indulging in things that are bad for you,
Quit it.
Yeah, knock it off, cut it out, right?
I would, but that on a good
Yeah, classic dad joke, man. Put that down, right? And hey, guys, take this from somebody that has struggled with alcohol in my life. It was something that I never should have picked up, and I never should have gone down that road. You start dealing with chemical addictions in your brain. It does rewire the way that your brain works. Put that stuff down, get away from it. There's a whole life for you to live on the other side of it, free from being chained to a thing that's only going to drag you down. It doesn't add anything to your life. And it's not just alcohol, right? Smoking, any types of drugs, gambling, for those of you guys out there, like any of that stuff, put it down, quit it, knock it off, free yourself, live life free of chains. That's my rant. I'm going to put that down and step away. That's not what we're talking about today.
Two things I'm going to say, and I'm coming at you from a pastor and a dad's point of view. You ready for this? If it never crosses your lips, you never have to worry about it. Right?
Right.
Yeah. And then number two, if you have to make excuses why you have it, it's an addiction.
Strong words. That
So,
reminds me of
two things.
that reminds me of Adam and Eve too, right? What was the one thing that God told them? It's like, don't look at it. Don't even touch it. Don't think about touching it.
Actually, there's one part of the story where it says, don't go over there, and you hit on this, and the implication is don't even look.
Don't even look at it. Right.
Yeah,
but
don't
that's
look
but that's
at
not
that
what I'm
direction.
talking about right now.
That's the easy fruit,
Right,
that you're talking about. What we're going for, not quitting, is you're going after this thing that we lock it in. We have determination, take it to the very end. Perseverance, I think, is going to be a word that you're going to work on.
That'll creep
right?
up in here for sure.
Okay, so persevering, all those other kinds of things, but what you're working on are those phrases that are like, let me go military here, tactical retreat.
Right. Delayed
Or-
success.
But there's a time to stop what you're doing
Right.
for a reason.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What's another one? Tactical retreat, or stop to live another day.
Right. Strategic withdrawal. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that kind of-
absolutely.
Okay, take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I'm talking about here today is quitting in the framework of the pursuit of a goal of any kind, right? So we're talking about your accolades. We're talking about, this could be a job. It could be a degree. It could be like in the military for us, you have your special certifications, qualifications, right? Anything like that. That's what I'm talking about. And there is absolutely a time where you should quit. And I'm going to make the argument that you should quit when the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And that might be such a
I like that. I like that.
That might be such a simple way to say it, but when the pursuit of the goal, right? Or excuse me, when the assertion of the goal, to use a bigger word, now I sound right.
Educated.
When the assertion of a goal is not worth the time and the effort that it's spent to get there, then you should be spending your time and effort elsewhere, right? We only have one life to live. Time is your most precious and your only non-refundable resource. Once it's spent, you don't get it back. And guess what? You're spending it every day. It's getting taken from you. So we should be spending our lives in the pursuit of goals that are worthy. Right. And so it's like, well, how do I determine if the juice is worth the squeeze then? Because that's going to be the next question. Well, how should I know then if the juice is worth the squeeze? I would argue.
And that's pretty individual per se. But go ahead.
Absolutely. But from my standpoint and what I've learned throughout my life, and this is just one of those things where, you know what, also there is going to be a part of this that is just individualistic. And from your standpoint, your perspective, some things might be more important than others. But for me, I would put these weights, these measures to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
In the end, if claiming or ascertaining that goal does not benefit you, truly bring fulfillment to your life, and does not benefit those that are close to you and those that rely on you, then it is not worth the pursuit of that goal. We're all brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, spouses, or boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever the case. So there are other people that are a part of your life that are going to also, by virtue of being in your realm, in your small circle, that are going to be affected by you pursuing whatever these goals are as well. And we all have to take a time to understand, like, no man is an island unto themselves. So when you decide to pursue these goals, right, it's not just, is this going to benefit me? That one tends to be an easy one to answer, right? Because we all want what we want. Well, yeah, I want that thing, so it's going to benefit me. But then there's also the other. Is it going to benefit those that are close to me?
So let's put this into biblical terms. There is a biblical philosophy is taught by Jesus and a couple of other people in God's word. And here's the phrase: count the cost.
Absolutely.
Count the cost. Jesus's analogy is a guy doesn't build a barn that's going to end up holding his I think wheat or whatever
Stores
it is
of
that
wheat,
he is that he is harvesting, and before he's not going to build it and then tear it down and build bigger ones. What he's going to do, he's going to count the cost. What is it worth in order to do this? So make that application to what you're talking about. I do believe what you're saying and what you're saying to our audience right here is so if you want to know what that is, even down to the individualistic part, then you need to evaluate and count the cost. Is it worth it?
Right. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And there's two other, for those of you guys that are Bible readers out there, two other scriptures that might have immediately leapt into your head are, what would it profit a man to gain the whole world?
And there's the value,
right?
And we say count the cost. Okay. Yeah. So you got to have a value to measure it against. And Jesus gives that one too. There's the value.
Because that's what I'm saying that you should ask yourself. You should stop, be able to really look at yourself in the mirror. And if you go back to our mindsets of highly successful people, right? If you're able to be truly objective with yourself, then you should stop and be able to answer this question. If I get everything I want from this thing, will it truly bring me fulfillment? Is it going to be truly good for me? And will it truly be good for those around me? And I'm saying, and I'm telling you that if the answer to that is no,
let's put that in more generic terms,
throw it
much
away.
broader. Let's say, what will I gain? What will I lose? What will they gain? What will they lose?
There you go.
One of the things that
which is basically cost benefit analysis, to put a fancy term
if you
on
want
it.
to put it into economic terms, I mean, it is incredible how much of the Bible is actually just common sense.
Common,
okay,
freaking sense.
That's why we're talking about it, because this is us, and that's why we're bringing it to you, the listener, and this is how we operate our lives. So look, this is kind of what it boils down to. You got to find out what is the highest value. And that's an intrinsic value. That's one that you're going to put it on. The world will not give you that value. You got to figure out what that value is. Let me explain that as quickly as I possibly can. I have dealt with a lot of military people over. It's really funny because I'm really not talking about you. I'm talking about other military people that I have dealt with.
Those military people, dude.
Military. And, you know, it's like that pseudo science. Anyway, but in the fact of them talking about, and I've done this in premarital counseling and so forth, when they start talking about the children, it's amazing, young adults just going in, getting married and so forth, but there becomes an intrinsic value of their children. What is that worth to them? So I try to get them to figure out what's the value of their children going to be, what's the value of their family. So when they start looking at vocations and that kind of stuff, there's been times where I have literally said to some couples, are both of you going to work? And yes, we have our own careers. I will say something like, well, then do me a favor and don't have children. And what? We plan on having kids? No, because if you're going to chase after careers, somebody else is going to raise your children. That's the whole point of a career. Yeah. I'm not retracting them chasing after the career, but they're not going to raise their children. Somebody else will.
Somebody else will. That's a rough one to deal with. Well, we were out of time for this one.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So that's what we're going to leave you guys this week with. Count the cost. Make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. You only get one life. Spend your time wisely. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us on The Big Idea this week. Make sure you follow the link tree, like, subscribe, share the video, help us grow the channel, and we hope you guys stick around for Who's Who and What's New and keeping the main thing the main thing. We'll see you guys over there.